Hi, welcome to Tiny Teacup Crafts. I appreciate you being here with me. And this is my first long-form YouTube video on this channel, so I hope that you will be patient with me as I figure out how this whole thing works. And I appreciate any feedback that you could have for me and that you can leave in the comments. Now, for my first video, I wanted to show you all of the wearable crochet items that I made in 2024. And my goal was to manage one every month, and I almost managed that. I got to 11, and then December rolled around and the Christmas season and everything went crazy, and I couldn't finish the last one, but I am still very proud of myself for managing 11, so I'm going to show you all of them. Okay, I have scooched to the side, and I really hope I figure out how to insert the video clips here so that you can see what these items actually look like. Now, starting in January, the first thing I made was this chunky blue sweater. Now, this one worked up really fast. I used 2 strands of this beautiful blue yarn, and I used a double crochet stitch. So I managed to make this one in roughly 12 hours over a single weekend. I didn't use a pattern for this, but I did use the simple top-down method where you start at the collar and then work down, and then I added some ribbing at the end of the sleeves and at the bottom. Now in February, I did my first sweater vest, and I am obsessed with this gorgeous lavender color, and especially with the darker purple edging. I was surprised by how simple this was. It was really just the front and the back panel and then sewed together at the sides, and I used the lemon peel stitch for this one, which was a new one for me, but I absolutely love how that turned out. It gives it such a cool texture, and it's something that I've been using a lot in my other projects since then. In March, I had some yarn that I wanted to use up, this blue, gray, and white, and I made another oversized sweater. This one worked up a little bit differently. It was sort of, if you picture 2 T's sort of over each other, with a hole in the middle for the neck, and then everything is worked together and sewn together. I wasn't crazy about how the fit worked, but I did think it looked really cool with the stripes. Then in April, I made another sweater vest, this time with 2 granny squares using blue and purple, 2 of my favorite colors. This one was also really simple. It's just 2 large granny squares, one for the front and one for the back, and then I used white to add those 2 together. This one was super simple and really quick and easy, and I really like how it turned out. Then in May, I finally finished what was probably my longest project of the year, this beautiful cardigan. I used a much more lightweight yarn for this. That's why it took so long. It was about 2 months of work. Again, I didn't use a pattern, but I did use the top-down method, so the same as the chunky blue sweater from January, except I didn't connect the collar together and left it open so that it would become a cardigan, and then I added the hem all the way around and these really cute little white heart buttons that I've been saving for something special. In June, I made a quick tank top using the V-stitch, which worked up really quickly. Again, very simple, just a front and a back panel and then all of it put together, but I think the V-stitch and the open lacy feel of this really adds something cool, and I love the color too. Then in July, I had a lot of scraps that I wanted to use up, so I made this scrap yarn top. And the way it worked is that it works from one side to the next and then all the way around, and then you add it so it's like a tube. And I used sort of a ribbing stitch, so it's very stretchy. And then all I had to do was add some straps, and I added a little bit of detail at the bottom and at the straps, which was basically just making loops out of these chains, but I think it pulled the look together. And in August, I made a scrap yarn granny square vest. As you can see, still trying to use up all of those scraps. But I really like the look of granny squares all put together, and I didn't want to make a full cardigan or a full sweater, so I decided on a sweater vest, and I think it looks really cool with all of the colors put together. Now in September, I made this green willow square sweater, which was a bunch of willow squares, which I've always loved the look of, and put together to add a jumper. The issue with this was that the willow squares were not big enough, so I had to sort of trial and error and put together my own pattern to extend them. And I have to say, when I looked at the finished project and tried it on, I was a little bit disappointed. I didn't like the way it looked. It wasn't what I've been picturing in my mind, but it did start to grow on me, and I absolutely love the color, and I do want to make something with willow squares again. I'm not crazy about the fit around the neckline, so that is something I want to try and do again, so maybe this year. In September, I made what I'm actually wearing right now, another really super simple top-down sweater, this time in this self-striping blue yarn that is super cozy. Again, a double crochet, so it worked out really quickly. And I have to say, this one is the winner for me for this year just because it's the project that I have worn the most. It is so cozy and I love the fit and it turned out perfectly. And then in November for my last project is this open shell stitch top. Something very different for me, but I wanted to push myself. The open shell stitch is something that I thought was so gorgeous and I wanted to try in a project. It's worked all in one piece from one side to the next, and then you just have the neck hole in the middle and then you connect the two sides. And I really love the way that it turned out. I just wish that I'd made it longer, but that was something you couldn't add to because of the way that it was worked. So it's one that I want to try again with a different color, maybe a purple. In December, my unfinished one that I do not have a video for you was supposed to be this bell-sleeved crochet cardigan that with like really big sleeves, but then I ran out of yarn and then Christmas came around and I never finished it. But I still have it, it's still in a box somewhere, and I do still plan on finishing it. So stay tuned, hopefully you will see it someday. So that was all of the crochet wearables that I made in 2024. Let me know which one was your favorite, which one did you love, which ones did you absolutely hate, you can tell me. And if you want to support me, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, like the video, and I really hope that I will see you in the next video. Bye!